couple of years back on a tour with Volkswagen in Shanghai, VW President Felipe Estrella said that they were set to bring in a model that started with the letter T, which, to be honest with you, did absolutely nothing for us because we looked around the show and there were like 3 or 4 models that started with the letter T. He kept us guessing. So you can imagine, hassle. But we were excited. And then the pandemic hit. Anak ng po. Finally, a break in 2021. Say hello to the VW T-Cross. It definitely has similarities to other VW products, both larger and smaller, made apparent by this toothy and large angled grille. Its design stands alone. Accents that stretch across the front and circulate the fog lamps with corner light function, I might add, pair well with the FOSS skid plate found down below. All of this sits beneath DRLs, LED headlamps, and turn signal configurations that would make jewelers envy. The roof rails mimic the body lines that are found all over the automobiles, which start actually on the hood's shoulders and then continue down the side, including a repeater on the side mirror, and halts just before the second color tone runs the remainder of the lower half. Its length and width are close to that of the Santana GTS, but its overall dimensions are even closer to the current Tiguan. Like the ground clearances are just 10 millimeters apart, with one of the longest wheelbases in the segment, sitting atop 17-inch wheels and ventilated up front, solid disc brakes at the rear. There's a bit of a debate here at the back because, well, to me, I actually like it. I think it's a stunner. You've got unique LED taillights and then a reflector that stretches the entire length of the car. Now, Jack is looking at me from behind the camera with both eyebrows raised because he's thinking, yeah, man, no. Well, I'm just saying that it's not for everybody. You can't please everybody all the time. Today's not his day, today's mine. Haha. There's also a rear fog lamp, and coincidence or not, the rear door cut forms the outline of the letter T. Doesn't make for the largest access to the rear, but thankfully there's almost 400 liters of space with the rear seats up and over 1,300 when folded. Bit of a deep lip though, so you might think that that's a problem. Thankfully, it's quite low even for a person like me, so loading stuff really won't be a problem. The T-Cross is, oh, it's warm. That's what the T-Cross is. It's, that's warm. The engine, yeah, okay. The T-Cross is powered by a 1.5-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder gasoline engine that produces 111 horses and 145 Nm of torque, mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. No diesel on this particular VW. Now, fuel consumption-wise, we were getting about 18.5 kilometers per liter on the highway. Quite impressive, and yet still in light traffic, impressive still, because it was doing a hair over 11 kilometers per liter. So in total, that's not bad at all. Autodeal.com.ph can connect you to get the best quote from multiple dealerships near you. You can request and compare quotes from any dealership in the Philippines. Get the best deal with Autodeal. Now, while you do sit quite tall in the rear, the headroom is actually still okay. The legroom even better. Look at that. You can do almost anything that you want. You can go fishing down here. Jack, who is 6 feet tall and about 100 pounds heavier than I am, even he himself felt comfortable here in the back, behind my driving position or even behind his own driving position. The bolsterings are just about right, really, and keep you in place. Now, unfortunately, there is no center armrest with cup holders. Devoid of that, however, you do have air vents up front, a USB charging point, and a Type-C charging point as well. And then, of course, it may not be as luxurious as up front, but at the very least, they share a panoramic sunroof, which is awesome. Nice. As unique are the taillights, so is the dash. Yes, you still have your standard analog gauges flanked by a digital trip computer in the center, which is pretty simple. Then you've got your infotainment screen that doubles as your reverse camera that has Android and Apple capabilities, and your simple air controls. But it's the obvious color trim that's on the dash that extends to the small panels on the door that truly make it stand out. Whether you get this Tribu color, violet, red, white, or gray, these panels will match the exterior color of the T-Cross. Now, to achieve this, they had to maintain a lot of more, shall we say, durable plastics up front. Oh, and one last thing. The seats are actually pretty funky. The color option is actually nice. It reminds me of the cartoon on Netflix, The Mitchells versus the Machines. Right? You see it, Jack, you see it, right? Come on.
I've never watched it.
What do you mean you've never watched it?
I don't have kids.
You suck. With an exterior NA5, but in reality, the 6-speed automatic transmission feels more like a CVT. And when you're on the highway, it feels like you need to stand on the accelerator just to be able to keep up with all the other cars on the road. The good news is, when you get back into the city where there's traffic, and let's face it, there's always going to be traffic, your fuel consumption figures will actually remain pretty darn good. Sound insulation is good in the city. Louder vehicles will obviously still make their presence known in here. But as for road noise and engine noise, it's not a huge problem. On the highway though, expect wind noise to make its way inside the cabin above 80 to 85 kilometers per hour. The steering is actually very, very light, almost to a point where you think you're playing a video game. Jack's words, not mine. It's not to say you're detached from the road. No, not at all. But see, this thing is not a sports car. It's not built for the Nürburgring. It's not made to go around tight corners at speed. It's more of a get into your car, get where you need to go on a daily basis without any hassles. It's not a GTI. It is a small crossover. It is what it is. Mainly being a city car, it rides more submissively on rougher, uneven roads. There isn't a shock sent through the cabin when going over milder potholes. That said though, when thrown around corners or at speed, there is an apparent body roll. But that's currently the dead of summer. We're in the middle of the city. The sun and the heat outside is redonkulous, and we've got the air turned on pretty high. And it's on high because, well, let's face it, I've got a panoramic sunroof. This is the SE variant. So I figured that this actually wouldn't be a problem inside the S variant where you don't have a panoramic sunroof. Yeah, sure, if that's your thing, but I mean, look at it. It's so pretty. As I mentioned earlier, with the steering and ride, it truly does belong inside the city. It boasts a smooth transmission and comfortable cabin to keep driver and passengers from feeling fatigued. And matched with good fuel economy, the T-Cross does fit the bill to what could be your next daily driver inside the metro. The 2021 T-Cross starts at 1,068,000 Philippine pesos for the S, and then this SE variant is 1,168,000 Philippine pesos. Now at that price range, you've got a lot of options in the market, but if you want a car that's definitely unique inside and out with great fuel economy, then this is your choice. But between the two, the S and the SE, only 100,000 pesos difference, I'd probably lean towards the SE because you do get more safety equipment, a better infotainment screen, and a panoramic sunroof. No guesswork there.